The moment Sophia Blackwood walked into my coffee shop, I knew my life would never be the same. What I didn't know was that this arrogant billionaire would ask me, a struggling single father, to give her a baby. And that somehow, against all odds, we'd end up saving each other. If you've ever felt like life has backed you into a corner with no way out, stick around. This story might just give you hope when everything seems hopeless. Like and subscribe if you believe second chances can come from the most unexpected places. I wiped down the counter for the 5th time that hour, glancing nervously at the clock. The morning rush had ended, and the afternoon lull stretched before me like a desert. 3 more hours until I could pick up Emma from school. 3 more hours of wondering how I'd make rent this month. "Dad, the doctor says I need the surgery soon," Emma had told me last week, her 8-year-old voice so matter-of-fact it broke my heart. But I told her you're saving up, so it's okay. The bell above the door chimed, pulling me from my thoughts. A woman entered, tall, impeccably dressed in a charcoal suit that probably cost more than my monthly income. Her dark hair was pulled back in a severe bun, and her eyes, sharp as flint, surveyed my humble coffee shop with thinly veiled disdain. "Are you Marcus Reed?" she asked, not bothering with pleasantries. I nodded, confused. "Can I help you?" "I certainly hope so." She extended a manicured hand. Sophia Blackwood, CEO of Blackwood Enterprises. The name registered immediately. Blackwood Enterprises owned half the city, including the building that housed my coffee shop. The rent had tripled last year, nearly putting me out of business. "What can I get you, Ms. Blackwood?" I asked, trying to keep the edge from my voice. "I'm not here for coffee." She placed a sleek leather portfolio on the counter. "I have a proposition for you." I raised an eyebrow, waiting. "I want a baby," she said bluntly. "And I need your help." The coffee mug I was holding slipped from my fingers, shattering on the floor. "Excuse me?" "You heard me correctly." Her expression remained impassive. "I've researched you extensively. You're a widower with a daughter. Emma, age 8. Your wife died during childbirth due to a rare complication. You run this coffee shop, barely making ends meet. Emma has a congenital heart condition requiring surgery you cannot afford." My blood ran cold. "How do you know all this?" "I make it my business to know things, Mr. Reed." She opened the portfolio, revealing a contract. "I'm offering you $5 million to be my sperm donor. No strings attached. No parental rights or responsibilities. Just your genetic material." I stared at her, speechless. "Why me?" I finally managed. Something flickered across her face, vulnerability, perhaps, before the mask of indifference returned. "Your medical history is impeccable despite your financial situation. You're intelligent, resilient, and your daughter is by all accounts healthy aside from her heart condition, which is not hereditary. So I'm just breeding stock." The words tasted bitter. I prefer to think of it as a mutually beneficial arrangement. She pushed the contract toward me. $5 million could change your life. Emma's life. Emma's face flashed in my mind, her brave smile as she swallowed pills that made her tired, the way she never complained about missing school for doctor appointments. $5 million would cover her surgery, her college, her future. Why not go to a sperm bank? I asked, still suspicious. For the first time, Sophia Blackwood looked uncomfortable. "I've tried. 3 times. I've had 3 miscarriages in the past 2 years. My doctors believe my body is rejecting anonymous donor sperm. They've suggested I try with someone compatible. And you think that's me? Based on what?" "Science, Mr. Reed. Genetic compatibility algorithms. And yes, a bit of intuition." She straightened her already perfect posture. "I'm 41. This is my last chance. The vulnerability in her voice caught me off guard. For a moment, I saw past the power suit and cold demeanor to the woman beneath, a woman desperate for something money couldn't buy. "I need time to think," I said. "You have 24 hours. She placed a business card on the counter. "My private number. Call me when you decide." As she turned to leave, I called after her, "Ms. Blackwood? Why a baby? Why now?" She paused at the door, her back to me. "Because, Mr. Reed, even billionaires get lonely." The bell chimed as she left, leaving me alone with a broken mug, a business card, and a decision that would change everything. That night, after tucking Emma into bed, I sat at our small kitchen table, staring at Sophia Blackwood's business card. $5 million. It seemed like a fantasy, a cruel joke. But the card was real, embossed with gold lettering that caught the dim light. "Daddy?" Emma's voice startled me. She stood in the doorway, clutching her stuffed rabbit. "Why are you still awake?" "Just thinking, sweetheart." I forced a smile. "Why are you up? Does your heart hurt?" She shook her head, curls bouncing. "I had a dream about Mom." My chest tightened. Emma never knew her mother, but I'd told her stories, shown her pictures. Sometimes I wondered if the memories she claimed were real or just fabrications from my tales. "What was she doing in your dream?" I asked, pulling her onto my lap. "She was telling me everything would be okay." Emma looked up at me with eyes so like her mother's. She said help was coming. A chill ran down my spine. "Did she now?" Emma nodded solemnly. "Who was that lady in the coffee shop today? The one in the fancy suit?" "Just a customer," I lied. "How did you know about her?" "Mrs. Peterson told me when she picked me up. She said a scary-looking rich lady was talking to you for a long time." I made a mental note to remind my elderly neighbor about appropriate conversations with 8-year-olds. "She's not scary," I said. "Just, different from us." Emma considered this. "Is she going to help us?" The question hung in the air, innocent yet loaded. Was Sophia Blackwood offering help or exploitation? Was I selling a piece of myself or securing my daughter's future? "Maybe," I answered honestly. "Would that be okay with you? If she helps fix my heart so I can run at recess like the other kids, then yes." Emma's simple logic cut through my moral dilemma. After putting Emma back to bed, I made my decision. I dialed the number on the card. "Mr. Reed," Sophia answered on the first ring, as if she'd been waiting. "Have you decided?" "I have conditions," I said, surprised by my own boldness. "I'm listening." "Half the money up front, before any procedure. The rest after confirmation of pregnancy." "Acceptable." "And I want to know the child," I continued. "Not as a father, I respect your terms, but I won't create a life and never know what becomes of it." Silence stretched between us. Finally, she spoke. "Quarterly updates. Photos, health reports. 1 supervised visit per year until the child is 5. After that, we renegotiate." "Deal." I took a deep breath. "One more thing. I want to know why. The real reason. Not the 'even billionaires get lonely' line." Another pause. "Come to my office tomorrow. 9 a.m. We'll discuss the details, and your question." The line went dead before I could respond. Sophia Blackwood's office occupied the entire top floor of a gleaming skyscraper downtown. Floor-to-ceiling windows offered a panoramic view of the city, my city, though from this height, it looked like a model, a toy version of the streets I walked daily. "Mr. Reed." Sophia rose from behind a desk the size of my kitchen. Today she wore a deep blue dress that softened her appearance slightly. "Thank you for coming." "Not like I had much choice," I said, immediately regretting my tone. She gestured to a chair. Please, sit. Would you like coffee? I understand you're something of an expert. No, thank you. I remained standing. You promised answers. Sophia studied me for a moment, then pressed a button on her desk. Cancel my morning appointments, Janet. And hold all calls. She walked to the window, her back to me. 3 years ago, I was diagnosed with stage 3 ovarian cancer. Not what I expected. I sat down. The treatment was aggressive. Chemotherapy, radiation, surgery. Her voice remained steady, clinical. I survived, obviously. But I lost my ability to produce viable eggs. I'm sorry, I said, meaning it. I don't want your pity, Mr. Reed. She turned to face me. I want your understanding. I built this empire from nothing. My parents died when I was 19, leaving me with debt and a failing family business. I transformed it into Blackwood Enterprises through sheer will and sacrifice. At the expense of a personal life, I guessed. Her smile was tight. Precisely. I always thought there would be time later for family. Cancer taught me otherwise. So this is about legacy? Someone to leave your empire to? Partly. She returned to her desk, opening a drawer. But also about this. She handed me a photograph, faded, creased with age. A young girl, maybe 12, with a woman who could only be her mother. They were laughing, arms around each other. That's me and my mother, Sophia said softly. The last photo taken before she died of breast cancer. I was 13. I looked up at her, seeing her differently. You want what you lost. What I never allowed myself to have, she corrected. A family. Connection. Someone who will remember me as more than the Ice Queen of Wall Street. The nickname clearly stung her, though she tried to hide it. Why me? I asked again. The real reason. Sophia took back the photograph, handling it with unexpected tenderness. Because you love your daughter more than anything in this world. I've watched you with her. The way you look at her, that's how my father looked at me, before grief destroyed him. You've been watching us? The thought was unsettling. After your wife died, you fought for custody against her wealthy parents who claimed you couldn't provide adequately. You won, despite their resources. You've worked 3 jobs at times to keep Emma in good schools and medical care. She met my eyes. That kind of devotion is rare, Mr. Reed. And genetic. I processed her words, the implication. You want a child who will be loved like that. I want a child with the capacity to love and be loved like that, she clarified. The rest is up to me. For the first time, I saw Sophia Blackwood as a woman rather than a billionaire, a woman facing her mortality, her limitations, her deepest fears. Okay, I said simply. I'll help you. Relief washed over her face, quickly masked by professionalism. Excellent. My medical team is prepared to begin immediately. The contract. I'll sign it, I interrupted. But I have one more condition. Her eyebrow arched. Which is? Honesty. Between us, going forward. No more Ice Queen. No more defensive coffee shop owner. Just 2 people trying to create a life. Sophia considered this, then extended her hand. Agreed, Marcus. It was the first time she'd used my first name. As we shook hands, I couldn't help feeling we just crossed a threshold from which there was no return. The next few weeks passed in a blur of medical appointments, legal meetings, and awkward encounters. Sophia insisted on the highest level of medical care, flying in specialists from around the world. I submitted to countless tests, examinations, and procedures, all while trying to maintain normalcy for Emma. Why do you have to go to the doctor so much, Daddy? She asked one evening as I prepared to leave for yet another appointment. Are you sick like me? No, sweetheart. I knelt to her level. Remember the lady I told you about? The one who might help us? Emma nodded. Well, I'm helping her too. Sometimes people need different kinds of help. She seemed satisfied with this explanation, returning to her coloring book. I marveled at her resilience, her acceptance. Children adapted so much more easily than adults. At the clinic, Sophia waited in a private room, scrolling through emails on her phone. She looked up when I entered, her expression unreadable. Today's the day, she said, setting aside her phone. Are you ready? I nodded, though ready hardly described the tumult of emotions I felt. The process itself was clinical, impersonal, a stark contrast to how my daughter had been conceived in love with my late wife, Sarah. As we waited for the doctor, an uncomfortable silence settled between us. Tell me about Emma, Sophia said suddenly. The request surprised me. What do you want to know? Anything. Everything. She hesitated. What's she like? So I told her. About Emma's love of space and dinosaurs. Her collection of rocks that she insisted were gems. How she sang in the shower, off-key but with complete conviction. The way she left notes around our apartment, misspelled declarations of love and observations about life. She sounds remarkable, Sophia said when I finished. She is. Pride swelled in my chest. She's the best of Sarah and me. Your wife, what was she like? The question caught me off guard. In the years since Sarah's death, few people had asked about her. Kind, I said after a moment. Fiercely kind, even when it cost her. She was an elementary school teacher. The kids adored her. You must miss her terribly. Every day. I met Sophia's gaze. But Emma makes it bearable. She has Sarah's eyes, her laugh. Sophia looked away. I'm sorry for your loss. Thank you. I studied her profile. Can I ask you something personal? She tensed but nodded. Have you ever been in love? The question hung between us, heavy with implication. For a moment, I thought she wouldn't answer. Once, she finally said. In college. He was a music major, brilliant but impractical. My parents had just died, and I was drowning in responsibility. He wanted to travel the world, play in orchestras. What happened? I chose the business. He chose his music. Her voice was matter-of-fact, but I detected an undercurrent of regret. Last I heard, he conducts the Vienna Philharmonic. Do you regret it? Choosing the business? Sophia turned to me, her expression fierce. I built something lasting, something that employs thousands of people. I've funded hospitals, schools, research facilities. My company has changed lives. That's not what I asked. Before she could respond, the doctor entered, all professional smiles and clipboard efficiency. The moment for honesty passed, replaced by medical terminology and consent forms. As the procedure began, Sophia reached for my hand, an instinctive, human gesture that seemed to surprise her as much as me. I took it, offering what comfort I could in this strange, sterile room where we were attempting to create life. 2 weeks later, Sophia called me at the coffee shop. It worked, she said without preamble. I'm pregnant. Joy and disbelief flooded through me. That's wonderful. Congratulations. Thank you. Her voice softened. For everything. How are you feeling? Physically, fine. Emotionally. She paused. Overwhelmed, if I'm being honest. Her vulnerability touched me. That's normal, I think. When Sarah told me she was pregnant with Emma, I threw up from nerves. Sophia laughed, a genuine sound I hadn't heard from her before. That makes me feel better, actually. The money will be transferred today, she continued, back to business. As agreed. Thank you. The words felt inadequate for what this meant for Emma. Sophia, I'd like to meet her, she interrupted. Emma. If that's acceptable to you. The request surprised me. Why? Because she's important to you, Sophia said simply. And because I'd like to know the kind of child you raise. I considered her request. Our agreement included me knowing her child, but not the reverse. Yet something told me this mattered to her. Okay, I agreed. But not as my donor recipient or whatever we are. Just as a friend. A friend, she repeated, as if testing the word. I'd like that. We arranged to meet that weekend at a park near our apartment. As Emma and I wait.